Today's video is all about buying with confidence. Before anything else in the video, remember rule number 1. Buy with PayPal, goods and services. We'll get into everything else later, but remember that golden rule. If you don't follow it, chances are you could lose it. So PayPal, goods and services, that's what we want. So let's talk about some of the e-commerce sites and what's good and bad about them, because they all have their perks and problems. eBay is incredibly buyer friendly. If you're a seller, it sucks. Ask them all the time. But eBay, you've got protection through eBay itself. You've got PayPal, and eBay will almost always side with the buyer. So it's good for you, not good for the seller. Buy with confidence on eBay, because if it doesn't come as described, you can send that shit right back and get your money back. Third-party resellers. So you've got guys like Mason's PB, you've got Hoodies, and like Trade My Gun. That's what I mean by that. These are the guys who buy low and then they sell them used at a higher price, but what you're going to get is going to be legit. You're not going to get ripped off. And generally, if there are problems, they try to make it right. The problem with eBay and third party, again, is that they have a higher markup. You're going to pay more for what you get, but you get peace of mind. Craigslist. Craigslist is a local favorite. Go there and you can find some pretty good deals. Most of the time, it's going to be cash only. Sometimes they request PayPal. I prefer cash. That way you've got the item. There's no recourse, so they can try to say you didn't take it. Cash only on Craigslist. That's my rule. That's where I get some of the deals, though. People trying to unload shit quickly. We're going to spend the bulk of the video on Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, PB Nation, because those are the online forums where most of the deal making takes place. That's where also a lot of the problems take place too. You can get scammed anywhere, but these are some of the places that we really want to talk about. So another rule is never leave a deposit. Bad news, leaving a deposit is just stupid. Don't do it. Don't do it. You're never going to see it again, believe me. You can ask for a legit check, but legit checks aren't necessarily good. If you get like 15 people piling on saying, yeah, the guy's good, but he can't shoot anybody in the field, generally they're all people that know that guy. They know he's legit. They may not know his address, but they play with him pretty frequently. And if you were to rip somebody off, he'd be blackballed from every field around. Now, if you got 1 or 2 people jumping in, talking, it might be an alternate account. So just don't necessarily trust 1 or 2 people jumping in. It is tough. And always look at the profiles. If there's lots of engagement, lots of family photos, things like that, you can see who the guy's wife is, you can see who his parents are. Those are the types of profiles that are unlikely to be scam accounts. And if they do rip you off, you can message his mom, have his mom whoop his ass, have his wife whoop his ass, his sister, whatever the case is. Those are the ones you want to look for. So let's get into some of the questions you want to ask before you buy. You want to ask, what does a marker come with? Does it come with a barrel? Does it come with like a, toolkit? Does it come with O-rings? Does it come with a case? Marker cases, they help protect it in shipping, but they're also add value to it too. Not a lot, but some. But you want to know these things. You want to know what's coming to you. You want to know exactly what you are paying for. You're going to want to ask for any signs of wear or any signs of damage. Now, if you've got a gun with rubber grips and it's got like maybe a couple scuffs on there, not a big deal. If it's got like wear on the barrel tip, things like that you want to know. If there's scratches anywhere, you don't want any surprises. You get the marker and you find it's all scratched up on the tail end or on the ASA, on the regulator, or something's bent. Ask up front. That way if it shows up, it doesn't match, you can send that shit right back, get your money back. Ask for shooting video if possible. Now this is going to be very telling, because a lot of times, that's going to mean the person has it in their hands. It's going to see that it's actually functioning. A lot of times you can hear for any leaks. Now, not everybody's going to be able to do a shooting video. They just don't have time. They don't have the place to do it. Don't hold your hat on that, but if they can do it, great. It just helps you buy with confidence. You know exactly what you're going to get. You're going to ask if it functions normally. So ask them, see, hey, does it cycle okay? Are there any leaks? Things like that. Because if you get it upon arrival and it's leaking like out of a macro line, not a big deal, but if it's leaking down the barrel, it's a little bit more involved. Generally, that stuff can be fixed pretty easily, but if it's leaking from the SFR on, say, like a Geo, that's not cool. It's probably going to need a solenoid, and those are about 160 bucks new or 180. It's not worth it. You're going to want to send it back. So ask about that specifically. If it's written down and the guy says it has no leaks, that's great. If you have to have a dispute, that information and written down, him versus what your account is, it is going to help you tremendously getting your money back and not get ripped off. Ask for today's date as well. That way you know the person has it in your hand. You can also ask them to leave a message, something stupid. SoCal's Zoom cam is slow, or SoCal's Zoom cam is old. Doesn't matter. Something funny to let you know that they have it in their hands. We've seen some pretty silly stuff where people actually use pictures from markers from like when they purchased it from somebody else, and it's actually on the way to them. They don't have it in their hands, but they're already trying to work a deal to sell it for more than they bought it for. Get a picture, get a date. That's one of the golden rules for making sure it's not a scammer. If possible, if the guy has a case with it, ask to get the address either taped on the case or inside the case, just in case there is a problem during transport, falls out of the box. If there's no case, I hate to say it, have them attach it to the marker in some way that's not going to damage it, but you want it taped, or you want it attached to it. That way, if the marker were to fall out of the box because the guy didn't package it right, the post office is still going to know where it goes. Because that type of scenario, it does happen more than you think. All right, so some of the red flags. Let's say a 1200 marker goes up for 800, but the guy's asking for Venmo only. Guess what? Probably a freaking scam. Avoid it. It violates rule number 1. PayPal goods and services only, right? As a buyer, if I buy something, I video myself opening it. If it's unopened and it's coming from USPS, I will video myself cutting the box open, Let me get a box. So, this was a marker that came to me, and I went and opened the GoPro, set the GoPro up, filmed myself cutting the damn thing, opening it, looking at it, and luckily the guy did a good job packaging everything. But you want to see... But a video will help. It will really help. It'll show if the guy packaged the thing poorly. It'll show, what arrived to you, because we've had people not put in the box what they said they were going to. Person got a tracking number, and guess what arrived to him? A gold chain, a fake gold chain, and some weights in there. And so, people do some shitty stuff. In that case, I think the guy did not send PayPal goods and services. He broke rule number 1, and he lost some money. And I think that guy's name was Gold Joe, was a scammer, piece of crap. Known scammer, and he got somebody. Again, rule number 1, PayPal goods and services, otherwise that money is as good as gone. Another nightmare scenario happened a couple times where a marker is in transport, let's say an LV1, it's in transport, and the guy did a shitty job packaging it, taping it. The box gets damaged, the marker falls out, it's on the conveyor belt, the box is found. Post office doesn't know what to do. They find a couple of loose items, they throw them in the boxes, but they mispackage them, and that happens. So if it's not addressed on the marker itself or in the case, there's a chance it's going to the wrong person. And in this case, if it's not a claimed item or an item they can't really figure out, you can call the post office, you can try to make a claim, but a lot of times that thing's going to get sent to auction because they suck. They're not the best at locating items and following through on everything. And it's going to go and it's going to end up on eBay from somebody who bought a lot from the post office. Because it happens, and you can buy them from the post office too. So, yeah, moral of the story, tape up everything, address it, make sure it's packaged. But shit does get rearranged. The post office will load incorrect goods in there. So it's good to take a picture of the box, have the person send a picture of the box taped up, that way you know what to expect. If it looks like it's been tampered with by the second you open it, grab it, take photos. Hopefully you don't find anything wrong with it, but if you've asked them to put address on the item, the good, whatever the case is, and they didn't, that's on them. And if they didn't pay for insurance, they screwed up, right? So post office will pay on some stuff. The value of the goods, determining that with the post office, that's tough. They're not always going to pay out what you've claimed on the insurance, but that insurance is good for something, so please do buy that, use it, or you will be out potentially. Everybody needs protected. A lot of times that's worked out between the seller and the buyer up front. I will always opt to pay for the insurance. I will always opt to pay for the good and services unless I'm comfortable losing that money. Alright, I tried to hit all the high points, and again, if you don't remember anything else, remember rule number 1. PayPal, goods and services only, or that money is as good as gone. And your credit card does offer some protection as well, so if you use your credit card, that's going to help. They generally will side with you, they want your business, and if you can prove some fraud or negligence on somebody's end, they're going to side with you. So if you want to double up, use PayPal and pay with your credit card through PayPal. You know, it's like another way of getting some protection on there. So hope that's helped. Happy hunting. Get some good deals. Get some good gear. Get what you want. Get it right. And buy with confidence.